All right, y'all, just finished another good workout. So I want to talk about excuses. But before that, matter of fact, segue. Excuses is what I want to discuss, but segue right into exercising, because I just finished exercising. So I don't exercise for the vanity of it, right? The vanity comes with it. The display, the vanity, you know, the being able to put on a suit and feel comfortable, to be able to go out summertime, springtime, and feel comfortable, feel confident. I like to use that word, confident. But that's all wrapped up in the vanity. That's the vain part of it. That's not why I do it. That's secondary. That comes with it. That's by default, right? It just comes with it. Why I exercise for more than anything, and it's not just stress relief either. Stress relief is also very good. It's one of the health reasons why I exercise. But I exercise more importantly, there's various reasons. I could say for my health overall, right? Keep my blood pressure, my cholesterol levels in check. So all of that is good. But why I exercise more than all of that, more than my biological health, is to keep my drive alive. For me personally, the reason why I like to exercise is to keep my fire burning, to keep my ambitions alive. Because life has a way of suppressing, repressing, digressing, and just, it has a way to stifle or to stagnate. That's the perfect word, to stagnate our ambitions, our drive, our get up and go, our fire in the belly. Life has a way of doing that. There's no one particular thing, just life generally. Excuse me. So that's the number one reason why I personally like to exercise. That's my number one. When I'm exercising, that's what I think about. When I'm in the gym and I'm working out, I have a rule, a psychological technique that I implement on myself. If I find my mind thinking about anything other than my current state, I'm failing. And what I mean by that is, I'm in a gym. Everything around me, the environment, everything that surrounds me, concludes one thing, that I'm here to exercise. In microbiology, it's called a media or a culture, which is a biological term for environment. Certain bacterias cannot develop. It's called morphology in terms of their development. Cannot develop if they're not in the proper environment. So they need to be in it's called a media. They need to be in a media that is conducive to their growth and development solely. And if the bacteria is not in, if it's in any other environment other than that environment, it will not develop fully. And so the lesson I take from that is, if I'm that bacteria and I'm in the gym, the environment that I'm in, it's exclusively and solely responsible for me exercising. I shouldn't be in there to socialize, because it's not a social setting. If I'm in a bar or a lounge, that's a social environment. But when I'm in if I'm at the gym, everything around me says I should be doing one thing, and one thing should be in my mind, and that is exercise. And in between, catch my breath, monitor my breathing, relax my nerves, psychologically calm my heart rate down, and allow blood to circulate and the oxygen to flow through my brain so that I can recover my strength to do my next rep. So if I'm not thinking about anything, if I'm thinking about anything other than that, I'm wasting time. I'm not having an effective exercise. So that's just something I want to share with you guys, some psychological techniques to kind of motivate yourself while you're working out. But I want to, like I said, I want to talk about excuses. And again, exercising, we segue right into it. No excuses in life. People who make excuses are justifying. Excuses are just a way to justify their lack of ambition, their lack of drive, their lack of get up and go, their lack of toughness, gumption, and mental fortitude. That's all it is. Excuses are just justification for your lack of mental fortitude, your lack of gumption, your lack of boldness, courage, your lack of get up and go, your lack of fire in the belly, your lack, as in the Jewish culture, they call it the lack of chutzpah, right? You don't have the chutzpah, the cojones. So that's what excuses are. They're just, and an excuse can come in so many forms. They can be perfectly gift wrapped. They can come in euphemistic forms, meaning they come benign, harmless, you know, perfectly packaged and justifiable. They might even fool you and make sense. But if you're smart enough, you can see through the facade and the mask in which excuse is wrapped. So I like to say we need to learn to stop making excuses. You should have no excuse, right? Zero. Here's excuse. Here is my only exception to the rule. If you have some kind of deformity, right, or some health issue, if you're psychologically, you know, some kind of mental issue that you have been diagnosed on, right, that's an exception. If you have like a physical impediment, that's an exception. But I'm talking about a person who is generally healthy, generally still have their youth, their age. Everything else is an excuse, and that rule applies to myself first. Sometimes I find myself making excuses and I got to snap out of it. Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? I got to slap myself up. So I hate excuses, and I hate the purveyors of excuses. I hate the excuse carriers, the excuse bearers. I hate excusors, those who are, you know, they say never use the word hate. I do, right? You got to hate certain things passionately and fervently so that it doesn't infect you, right? Hate, using the word hate is a strong defense. If I say I hate excuse, the entities or the energy of excuse is going to have a very difficult time penetrating and inoculating itself into my psychology. It's going to have a very difficult time inculcating itself in my psychology. It's going to find itself having a very difficult time inveterating itself in my vocabulary. Right? Look those words up if you don't know what they mean. Excuses will have a very hard time penetrating the walls of my cerebellum, the walls of my cranium, the walls of my psychology. If I hate something, the hate is such a passionate and strong word that force field of hate excuse is going to find a very hard time scaling those walls. So it's all right to use the word if you're using it in the right context. You know what I'm saying? If I say I hate alcoholism, I hate drunkenness, I hate drunkenness. Drunkenness, the spirit of drunkenness or the entity of drunkenness is going to have a very hard time maneuvering itself into my life. So you gotta hate some things because that hate now serves as your defense mechanism against that which you're hating. Context, people. So zero excuses. Zero excuses. A famous, I forgot the name of the philosopher. There's a famous quote that says, excuses are used by the weak and incompetent, seldom capable of doing anything. Those who practice in the use of excuses are seldom capable of building anything else. Excuses are used by the weak and incompetent to build monuments of nothingness. Those who practice in the use of them are seldom capable of anything else. I learned that quote when I was in Bible college, maybe like in 2003. Until today, I still remember it. Obviously, I had to say it twice to kind of let the old noggin bring it back to, you know, to cognizance, to my cognitive mind. But I remember it. Excuses are tools of the weak and incompetent used to build monuments of nothingness. Those who practice in the use of them are seldom capable of anything else. Hate excuses, people. Next time, Mark, cooking the books.